Alright, we're doing a service. It's actually overhead. It's been a while since I had to do overhead service. Usually in our area is all underground new construction now. But had to run some 4-aught SEU. Had to strap it and stuff. They're gonna have to take the straps off before they put the siding on. I guess they're kind of on a rush, but they're behind on the outside siding, so they're gonna have to take the straps off before they can put siding. So anyway, we have 4-aught SE cable coming in. We're gonna strap it. We already strapped it. Had to use a weatherproof connector. I gotta tighten it. It has a rubber grommet in here, and then usually we put seal, duct seal on it. All right, we're gonna strip this jacket. It's gotta be at least 1/4 inch left past the connector. You just gotta be careful not to cut the insulation, even though the SEU cable has the protected sheeting. Well, it's not sheeting, it's basically the ground. And basically we're gonna separate this. Then we're gonna strip the load. Nice and simple. Same thing, we're gonna cut the jacket at least 1/4 inch from the connector. The connectors, if it's over, I think number 4 or number 6, I believe number 4, you gotta put bushings, plastic bushings here on the connectors. Cut this off. Then I'm gonna unwind the ground. Basically, it's wrapped around the hot conductors. And what I want to do is just have this ground kind of in the middle. So I'm gonna open these up and then twist them back the way they were. And now the tricky part, not the tricky part, but what I use, you gotta twist these conductors. Well, it's a conductor, but the stranded, I use cutters. I go like this, I don't squeeze all the way, and then I keep twisting until it's gonna be nice and neat, skinny conductor, so I can put it under the log just like that. Don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, it's gonna get too fat, because it's gonna keep, the wire is gonna keep going on top of each other and just gonna be fatter. You don't want that. Same thing here. I'm gonna have these conductors go like this, and ground in the middle, because the ground log is in the middle, the 2 hots on each side. So this is the line, so the conductor is gonna go here in the slots, and then they're gonna go on top. Same thing, this is the load. Always load on the bottom. Line is basically your power coming in from power company, and the load is what's going inside of the house in the panel. All right, now we gotta try to make this nice and neat. I know some people, they do it by hand. I just find it easier just to use the cable cutters. I have the other cutters, the ratchet cutters that I bought. This is a knockoff from Amazon. The Klein ones, they're like $350. I bought these just to try it out, and they were like under $30. highly recommend you buying one if you use, at least if you do service, couple of services a year. I mean, it's fairly cheap and it does the trick. I'll show you how easy it is. I mean, obviously they're not as good as Klein, but they do the trick. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, and also I use a impact gun. It's a 1/4 inch. The only thing, you don't want to strip these out. If you take the knot completely, like the bolt completely out, you got to make sure you start it with your hands, not the tool. If you can strip them really easily, not really easily because this is pretty big size, but you just got to be careful, mindful. You don't want to create problems in the middle of your day. All right, here's how I'm gonna use this ratchet cutter. So this gotta be like kind of in the middle, because you're gonna have two cables, the ground wire coming in from the bottom and ground wire coming in from the top. So I'm just gonna cut it right here in the middle. Actually, if you sometimes I just mark it, that way it's easier. You don't have to like hold it with your finger and then you move your finger and you cut it in the wrong spot. Like, one thing, if you cut it too long, it's not a big deal. If you cut it too short, you just ruin your day. Especially the line side, because line side, it's going all the way up to the roof and over. It's probably like I say 30 feet. So you just, like, I don't have enough cable on me to waste. And this is a anti-corrosion compound and anti-oxidation. Then basically these, they have little slots right here, so they can only go one way. If you look, see these little wings? I don't even know how to describe it. You unscrew the bolt, whatever, and go like that. I'm just gonna start like go a little bit, don't overkill it, and then we're gonna torque it. I have a torque wrench with me. By the code, you're supposed to use a torque wrench. Alright. Same thing with the load side. I'm gonna mark it, and I'm gonna cut it. See, you can either use the manual cutter, the old school, or the ratchet. A lot of times I just use a manual one. If it's just a one conductor, it's fairly easy with the aluminum. And if I'm using, like, if I'm cutting the whole cable with the 3 conductors, I use a ratchet one. I mean, you can use it either or. I used to use that manual one back like 18 years ago. In 2004, I believe, I started working as an electrician, and it's been a while. I'm getting old. I don't look, people say you don't look 41, but I'll be actually 42 if God willing, in January. So I'm getting old. But if you talk to really older fellas, they're like, you're just a baby. I wish I was. Then you gotta slide this up. With the ground, you gotta be careful, because basically in the back, this ground block, all it's holding is 2, I think, like 1/4 inch bolts. I don't even know why they're using just that. You know, there's only 2 1/4 inch bolts in the back holding this big log. So if you, when I even torque it, you can see the whole thing bending. So you gotta be easy on it. If not, you're gonna rip them screws out. And back in New Jersey, I used to be able to have the grounding conductor coming from the slab or concrete or like ground rods, and I used to terminate it on the meter base. Here in Virginia, in our area, they don't want us to run the ground from the grounding system, bonding, whatever, to bond it through here, because they're thinking, I guess they can, I don't know, I don't really know why. I'm assuming they don't want that bare wire, bare ground. I mean, this is bare, so I don't know. They just don't want it to be terminated here. They want it to be terminated in the main panel. I mean, that's what they want, that's what they get. All right, now we're gonna, same thing, we're gonna mark it where where we want to cut it, right here. And at the same time, we're gonna have to take the insulation right here to be bonded to the log. So I'm gonna mark how much insulation I want to take off. Same thing with this. We're gonna cut it right here, just past the log, and the insulation right here. This cuts a little bit tougher than the grounding wire, because I guess insulation is a little bit thicker, I believe. I don't know if that's a 4/0 the ground, or it's actually a 2. I'm not. Alright, see, I usually put the one handle on my shoulder, and the other handle, I just use both my arms. Same thing here, cutting it on the line, and then I'll show you what I use. I used to use knife to take the insulation off. I'll show you. Alright, just utility knife. So I split it open, and I would just go around to take the insulation off. I mean, I used knife for the past like 17 years, and it was working fine. Now they come up with new innovative solutions, and they come up with this. Klein, that's the company that makes it. I'm sure probably other companies gonna be making it. This is a 4/0, 3/0, 250 MC, and 2/0. So it's pretty easy. You just stick it in here and strip the insulation off. Really easy. I love it. It was like $55 or something. I mean, now they even make cordless tool to basically, you just stick the cable in and it just spins by itself. I mean, if you do like industrial work and you gotta terminate bunches of heavy wire, yeah, I can see yourself spending, investing in that strip tool. But as of right now, most of our work is residential, just because of the size of our company. Eventually I would like to have commercial division, industrial division like service, but it takes a lot of manpower, and a lot of times, like your electricians, typical you hire, they usually know either industrial or commercial or residential. So it's tough to find a person that can do it all, and if they can, a lot of them, they're just like in residential, you gotta be like new construction, especially, you gotta be pretty fast you know, to make a buck. And a lot of them guys, if they, it's just tougher to find a person that can do it all. Usually if you find a person that does it all, he's on an older side and he doesn't have much left in him. No discrimination against age, it's just like, I know myself, I'm not as fast as I used to be. Like the company I worked for back in New Jersey, we used to rough in a house, didn't matter what size it is, even if it's like 5,000 square foot, we would rough it in one day. That's no exaggeration. The company, they were just all about getting it done, and I don't want to be that kind of company, because basically they were just like, they didn't care, you know, about quality at all. You know, I want to be like the medium size company that really try to take care of their employees and try to take care of their customers. And if you're gonna be super fast, super big, you just won't be able to take care of your guys in the most case. I mean, I'm sure there are companies that are really good, really big, but it might be a little bit difficult. I just want to be a blessing to the customers and to my employees. That's basically my goal. Alright, now we gotta torque it. I already set my torque range. You're not supposed to set it and leave it for a long time because the spring stretches. So this one, it says the torque spec is from number 6 wire up to 350 mil. You set it to 20.8 lb per square feet. There you go. Man, this is okay. Okay. Alright, good. So up to the spec, loosen the torque. Alright, and I gotta take all my stuff out. And that's it. Putting the cover on and off we go to a different job.